Did you guys know that a lot of Christmas songs were written by Jews? I didn't know it until recently, but it makes sense. Because I think it's good money. I hope I'll manage to post this video before Christmas ends, because this is December 25th right now. So Christmas, Merry Christmas. And soon enough, it's gonna be Hanukkah once it's dark outside. So Happy Hanukkah. Gemara. Rav Hanan bar Rava says, when are these festivals celebrated? Calendar is celebrated during the 8 days after the winter solstice, which, by the way, notice 8 days after the winter solstice. What else is celebrated for 8 days? Yeah, Hanukkah. There is something there already. And Saturnalia is celebrated during the 8 days before the winter solstice. Again, 8 days. Hanukkah is also 8 days. Why do we have only one celebration then? Shouldn't we have 2 Hanukkahs? I don't know. Yeah, suspicious, I know. Hi everybody. So before you light up your torches, because I'm talking about Christianity and Judaism and Hanukkah and Christmas, and sometimes those groups don't like mixing up. Actually, you should light up your torches because we're talking about festivals of lights. And why am I making this video? Because last night I went to sleep and your thoughts drift when you sleep. And then suddenly I remembered this talk in the Talmud that talks about festivals of lights. Here's the thing, there is a catch. How do you define Christmas? First of all, is it Christmas the Talmud is talking about? Well, that depends on how you view Christmas. You see, the Christmas as in this is when Jesus was born celebration is a bit late for the Talmud to acknowledge or address or talk about. I don't know if you know, but for example, the pilgrims that went to the United States who were very Christian didn't even want to celebrate Christmas because they had associated it with pagan holidays. Well, they're not wrong, and this is the pagan holiday that is probably talked about in the Talmud, but it's the same as Christmas because it is celebrated the same time. The traditions are the same traditions, and throughout the world, Christmas is also not necessarily associated with the birth of Jesus everywhere, especially when it comes to celebrating the New Year. And yes, even during Roman times, you had 2 different celebrations. The one that is around the winter solstice, and the one that is to celebrate the New Year. Yeah, so this tradition, right now we have Christmas and the New Year, and back then there was something similar, which I'm going to talk to in a little bit. And for those who are here to hear some stereotypical Jewish tropes, you will not be disappointed. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. Well, okay, I'm gonna move to a place that has a bit more lights because, the Festival of Lights, Hanukkah and Christmas are. And let's talk about what is actually written in the Talmud about Christmas. But if in your mind, you cannot separate Christmas from Jesus, then I'm going to talk about that later on, but from a different perspective. More from the perspective of, okay, what does it mean for Jews? Can they celebrate Christmas? Can they not? Anyway, let's go and explore a bit more. Let's talk about what's written in the Talmud. But first, let me put something on. I don't want to disrespect the sages. I'm just kidding. It's cold. All right. Starting with what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah is the rules of Judaism that are not written in the Bible. So everything that passed down from generation to generation via oral tradition is written down in the Mishnah. And then the Gemara is a discussion on top of the Mishnah, which is a bit more practical. So the people who are talking here, most of them lived during the 3rd century. And there are a few rabbis that are quoted here and that are from later times, like the 5th century, 4th, 5th century. So here's what the Mishnah says. And these are the festivals of Gentiles, something that is religious and therefore Jews cannot participate in. And yes, that includes Christmas, Calenda, Saturnalia, and Cratesis. Early Christians did not initially celebrate Jesus' birth. The first recorded observance of Jesus' birth on December 25th happened in the 4th century. The Mishnah was compiled in the 2nd century, and some of the parts that I'm going to talk about is from the 2nd century. And the Talmud was compiled around the 4th, 5th century. So they didn't have much in the sense of associating Christmas with Jesus's birth. So why do I say that they talked about Christmas? Well, they talked about the pagan Roman holiday that inspired Christmas. You see, the selection of December 25th was not random. It was selected to probably align with already existing pagan holidays, specifically the Roman festivals of Saturnalia and Soli Victus, the unconquered sun. That is such a cool name for the winter solstice. Oh my god, why don't we have epic names like that anymore, do we? Choosing a date that was already celebrated and, people used to decorate trees, evergreen trees and branches and bring them home and decorate them and use lights. Yeah, everything that we know and love in Christmas, which we don't really celebrate at home, but we do sometimes celebrate the New Year. As a Jew, this is a bit of a spoiler. If you call the New Year the New Year, you're good to go. You can celebrate it. If you call it Sylvester, as some do, then that is associated with a certain saint in Christianity, and that is already something Jews cannot celebrate. I know you guys just cannot wait to hear our rules and customs as Jews and how we go nitpicky and talk about every little thing. I know you guys cannot wait, but at least we're gonna talk about money and how Jews make money during those festivals. Not the way you think, since it's not very profitable. All right. Let's talk about the money part first. And these are the festivals of Gentiles: Calenda, Saturnalia, and Cratesis. By the way, Cratesis was mixed up with Christmas later on in Judaism because we'll get to it. And the day of the festival of their kings, and the birthday of the king, and the anniversary of the day of the death of the king. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir. And the rabbis say, every death that includes public burning is a festival that includes idol worship. And any death that does not include public burning is not a festival that includes idol worship. But in case of the day of shaving his, i.e., a Gentile's beard and his locks, and the day of his ascent from the sea, a day somebody returns from a sea trip, and the day that he left prison, and also in the case of a Gentile who prepared a wedding feast for his son and celebrated on that day, engaging in business is prohibited only on that day and with that man. Okay, I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. So here's the thing. When it comes to festivals that have idol worship, the business is prohibited 3 days before the festival, and I think even several days after the festival. Maybe 3 days after the festival as well. I think I saw somewhere that even after. Okay, I found it. Here's what the Mishnah says. Rabbi Ishmael says that 3 days before and 3 days after there is a prohibition on having business. And the rabbis say you cannot do business before, but after you can. All right. Can you be a little bit less argumentative in this religion then? Okay, so the money thing. They mix it up in this story a lot, talking about business and whether you can conduct business or not during those days. And the reason is Jews are so nice. Just kidding. Actually, it's just because they don't want to have anything to do with idol worship or risk idol worship, even supporting it by selling you things, just don't want to be a part of it. And another reason is because idol worship is something that is prohibited for everyone in Judaism. Yeah, everyone, you included. So you don't want to do anything that would make others do idol worship. And then here's the thing. They continue to argue what idol worship is, what it's not. They talk about everything and anything, jumbled. So yeah, I want to talk about the things they say about Christmas and Hanukkah. I mean, the connection that they are naming between Hanukkah and Christmas. But there is so much here that I think I'd address a little bit. And I think if you just understood how much there is here, then you'd understand that those people who go around and saying, hey, I read the Talmud and this and that, people argue here, okay? There is so much argumentation here about what counts as idol worship, when do you conduct business, when is it okay, what festivals are mentioned, what kind of festivities are good to go, as in Jews can participate. If the city is having a festival, you can conduct business outside the city or not. If the festival is outside the city, can you have business inside the city? Yeah, they do talk about money, but it also comes from, hey, don't make money, if it's from something that you're supposed to not be engaged with. So why do different cultures celebrate holidays in such close proximity to each other all around the winter solstice? With regard to the dates of these festivals, the sages taught, when Adam, the first man, saw that the day was progressively diminishing as the days become shorter from the autumnal equinox until the winter solstice, he did not yet know that this is a normal phenomenon, and therefore he said, woe is me! Perhaps because I sinned, the world is becoming dark around me, and I will ultimately return to the primordial state of chaos and disorder, and this is the death that was sentenced upon me from heaven, as it is written, and to dust shall you return. Genesis 3:19. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, the days are getting shorter, maybe that is what's happening. And to dust shall you return. He arose and spent 8 days in fasting and prayer. I mean, the reasoning for why we're celebrating Hanukkah for 8 days, there are a lot of excuses why it's 8 days and not 7 days. So it's kind of a joke. In Judaism, we have weird jokes, sorry. All right, that is excuse number 1 to why it's 8 days. There are more, but this is not a video about Hanukkah, unfortunately. That would be too long of a video, and I started filming that on Christmas Day, so I want to publish it on Christmas, still Christmas Day. Very, very ambitious, I know. Once he saw that the season of Tevet, i.e. the winter solstice, had arrived, and saw that the day was progressively lengthening after the solstice, he said, clearly, the days before shorter and then longer, and this is the order of the world. He went and observed a festival for 8 days. Upon the next year, he observed both these 8 days, on which he had fasted on the previous year, and these 8 days of his celebration, as days of festivities. He, Adam, established these festivals for the sake of heaven, but they, the Gentiles of later generations, established them for the sake of idol worship. The plot thickens. Yeah, that's roasting. The Gemara raises a difficulty. Granted, according to the one who says that the world was created in the month of Tishrei, one can understand why Adam believed that the days were becoming shorter as part of his punishment, as he saw the short days of the winter and had not yet seen the long days of summer. But according to the one who says that the world was created in the month of Nisan, he had already seen the difference between the short days and the long days, as the days of the month of Nisan become progressively longer with the passage of time. The Gemara answers, although Adam had experienced short days, he had not seen days that were this short, as in the days before winter solstice. Yeah, this is the Talmud for you. People just having their theories and a theory on top of a theory and a lot of argumentation as well, because sometimes even the practice of burning a body, they later on have a conversation arguing whether this is real idol worship or is it just a way for people to mourn and just, not because they believe in any idol worshipness, but just because this is their customs and this is how they want to mourn the dead. Yeah, they argue about every little thing. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, I don't want to torture you guys too much. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I have links below if you guys want to support me. I have PayPal, Patreon, or Buy Me Coffee. Add the links below. You can see it in the description. Thank you so much for being here, and see you later. The Gemara asks, what is the festival of Katasis? Rav Yehuda said that Shmuel said, it commemorates the day when Rome seized control of an empire. I'm gonna skip that part. Oh! We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, I cannot sing, I'm sorry. באנו חושך לגרש בידינו באש, כל אחד הוא אור קטן וכולנו אור איתן, סורה חושך. משהו כזה. Anyway. Hello. Oops. Hi guys. Hi guys. Let's talk about Christmas.